The Pod Squad.
The Pod Squad.
The Pod Squad.
The Pod Squad. It's the Pod Squad. The Pod Squad.
I'm a little out of it. I think it was that big red margarita I had for dinner last night.
Nice.
That one from Sancho's.
Yeah.
It was really good, but yeah, I'm like, where's my allergy pill? My glasses are super dirty, and wasn't I supposed to send out a link this morning, or what? What's going on here?
But it was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Hey, Mike. He's connecting. Hey, there he is.
Hey, there you are. You made it.
Are the fish biting, Mike?
I haven't made it that far.
Oh, okay.
I barely made it away from the football game.
Oh,
Did it end?
It was a scrimmage, so they weren't keeping score, but I was. No, they didn't win.
Aw.
Yeah, the other team, I don't know. I got to see some birth certificates, you know.
Oh.
These are some bigger kids.
They got some ringers in there, huh?
I don't know what they're feeding them in Vaughn Army, but they were a lot bigger than these kids.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm
That
still on
happens.
school grounds. I found a remote parking. This is a pretty big campus. So I just hope some
middle school or high school? What is it?
He's in middle school. He goes to Scobie. But they played at the Southwest High School.
Right.
So yeah, it's a pretty big campus. I'm driving around it. I found a remote parking lot. I hope I don't look like some creeper guy.
And the
In the
band.
parking lot.
In the van, yeah, that doesn't look too good. Maybe you should move, Mike.
Well, I was looking for a better place. I was like, oh, it's already 10:30. I got to park somewhere.
There's got to be like a Walmart or a Kroger or
If you want to give me another 20 minutes, I would do that. But
So is this a van down by the Medina River?
yeah. Hey, I got a good story. If the school cop rolls up on me, I'll just tell him, look, my son just had a game and now my Zoom meeting podcast started. This is where I'm at. This is where life has me right now.
Tell him he can be in it.
Yeah. We'll have a special guest.
Who's your special guest?
Officer, whatever his name is.
Oh. I thought you were going to pull down a curtain back there or something.
Yeah, I still haven't fixed my background. I should have done that first.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it look better. I can only check it with my camera and it frames up different from the Zoom. So,
Oh,
so when I use the Zoom, it's like, okay, now things don't look right.
it looks good.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it not so obvious that I'm in a car, but I guess there's no good around it.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people do Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they're even driving when they're doing Zoom.
Well, the way the stand fits in the corner by the dash, I could probably just drive to the coast and Zoom for 3 hours. Huh?
There you go. Watch you catch fish.
Yeah.
So is that your steering wheel you're covering with the Coca-Cola bear?
The icy.
Oh, icy bear. I'm sorry, the icy bear.
Again, I'm trying to make it not so obvious on the call. I'm trying to cover stuff.
Hey, it shows that we're dedicated. We'll be anywhere. We're ready to go, you know?
Hey, this day and age, you can go to school from wherever, too. You can have class from wherever.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, Jose.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going.
It's going.
Oh, we all
We
here?
have different rooms in my house because they all have like studios, and I kind of get tired of going to the same place all the time. So I'm trying to find a new place. This is the Cavazos family history room.
Mm.
All right.
Over here is my dad and his brother, and over here are my dad's parents on the wall.
Ah.
Wow.
And
Your historical photos that you dug up in the attic.
yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, look, I'm still trying to figure out who these people are. Look how old this picture is.
Wow.
I have no
That
idea
is
who they
cool.
are.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, look at her dress. I mean, golly.
Gorgeous.
They don't
Yeah.
make dresses like that anymore. You know?
I saw some footage that somebody had restored of some film that was shot like in 1910.
Wow.
And it was just like a regular everyday life downtown, the train station, what have you. And I was just in awe of all the styles. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the men wore hats, the women wore hats and everything. Everybody was just dressed to the nines. This is just for every day.
Much
Yeah.
more formal. Yeah.
We throw on t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops, and we're good to go.
Sometimes not even that. I see people in PJs and
Oh yeah, the house
sunglasses, you know, their bed slippers and
Hey, you go to Austin, you see people walking around in a thong. That's about all they wear.
oh
so.
my God.
Yeah. So, yeah. So these people like that, man, they're just like stylish. I kind of, you know, in a way, I kind of wish that kind of style of that would kind of come back. Maybe not to that extreme, like for every day, but at least like a Sunday best kind of thing. I don't know.
Can you imagine how expensive it would be nowadays, though? Because I'm sure those clothes back then were a lot less expensive.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it was just a different time, man. It was great.
Yeah.
The styles.
Different era. Yep.
Yeah. It had its perks and advantages, but I'm sure it had its disadvantages. We have a lot more conveniences. We don't have to take our clothes down to the river and beat them on a rock.
Yeah.
And wash them. Throw them in the machine. That's it.
Or send them out to someone to wash or.
Yeah. Hang them out on the line.
Man, what a grueling life those people must have lived back then. You know, the have-nots, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It had to have been tough. It's beautiful to look at, but yeah, I don't think I would want to go back to that. Well,
Are we recording?
how was everybody?
Good.
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 No complaints. I had my barbacoa, so I'm ready for the day.
Your barbacoa and your Big Red? Or do you not do the Big Red?
No, I do big. First of all, it's got to be diet, so I went with a Diet Dr. Pepper today. So.
Gotta try that Big Red
Diet Big
Zero.
Red. I love the Diet Big Red, actually.
Yeah, it's that Big Red Zero.
Yeah,
I might have to
Try that one out.
it's really good. I like it.
It's good.
Everybody says barbacoa and Big Red, but when we were kids, and maybe it was just my dad and that was his preference, remember that orange drink that you bought in a jug?
Oh yeah.
It wasn't juice, not it was just an orange drink. I think that's what it said on the label.
The big gallon one?
That's what we had. We had barbacoa and
Yeah.
orange drink. That was our thing. And he liked Tang too, for some reason.
Yeah, we had a lot of Tang when I was a kid.
Yeah. And Kool-Aid, just regular
Astronaut.
old Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Kool-Aid.
The astronauts would drink Tang.
For anybody who doesn't live in Texas, if anybody happens to be listening out there, like not in Texas, barbacoa, tacos, or just barbacoa in general, has to be eaten with Big Red. You have to get your Big Red around here. They sell it as a package deal.
last
is a red cream soda. You don't find it in many places.
last spring, my cousin made barbacoa the traditional way in the ground.
Wow.
He invited us all to go out there and have some, and it was a very interesting experience.
Was it the big old head of the cow and everything?
Yeah. They had a couple of cow heads in the ground with the lid and the coals and the fire, the wood, all the bricks and everything. Yeah.
Damn.
And they pulled it out and they ripped off all the meat and chopped it up, and and it was good. It was good if you don't get grossed out by a skull looking at you.
The eyeball hanging out.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, you mentioned meat, but maybe explain what barbacoa is, if we're going to talk about it.
Barbacoa. See, I have a theory, because I'm not very traditional Latino, I'm afraid. But I believe that back in the day, poor Hispanics couldn't afford good cuts of meat, so they got the leftovers, including the head of the cow.
Correct.
So they would boil it, steam it, do whatever they could, and rip off whatever meat was left, including the glands, salivary glands, the cheek meat, brains, eyeballs, everything. And they would just grind it all up into meat and eat it. I believe that's kind of where it comes from.
Yeah, that's exactly, you're right on track. The way the story was relayed to me by my historian brother, the origins of the word barbacoa, you're right. Most of the ranch houses and places, they had the big house. When they slaughtered a cow, all the finer cuts went up to the big house. But most big ranches or wealthy places,
Hacienda, so I guess back then.
they had their little shanty towns in the back for the workers, and they got all the scraps.
Yeah.
Everything from the barba, from the chin, from the barba to the cola. Hence the word cola. They just dropped the L.
You might want to let them know what cola means.
Yeah, so for those who don't speak Spanish, barba is this right here. For everything
From the chin to the
tail, to the butt.
To the tail.
Cola is actually butt, but they were nice about it and just didn't call it barbacoa. They call it barbacoa. But basically, that's what it was. It was a mishmash of the scraps that were.
Yeah, it's like a Mexican soul food, right?
I'm not too sure about those explanations.
Like Mexican soul food, right? Because like black people, they use up like a pig's feet and the tripe and the chitlins and all that.
Yeah.
Same thing, right? It's just a Mexican style of doing it.
Huh.
Mexican soul
But
food.
I'm sure there's a lot of different origins about like where it came from, where the name came from, and all that.
Same thing.
There were a lot of different stories.
Because from what I remember, I mean, like I remember seeing that kind of I mean, this etymologically, I don't know where the word comes from. I always assumed it was barbacoa, like it was the Spanish version of barbecue. You had a barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
You dug a pit, you put the meat down there and you let it cook. But I had seen it in Mexico. I've never seen it done here. So I don't know. Like I will have to look into that. I'm like really intrigued by both of your explanations for where that came from, because generally I'm like a word nerd, but
yeah, no, I was like you. I thought it was just a Spanish version of barbecue, but like I said, I got this from my brother, and I guess he's kind of knows what he's talking about when it comes to. He's a history buff. Whether we're just gonna have to do some more research, I guess, and get to the bottom of it.
And I guess it has to do with when they slaughtered the cow, because for some reason barbacoa is traditionally eaten on Sunday. And I mean, nowadays you can get it any time, but like the place I go to get it, if I go tomorrow on Sunday, there'll be a line around the block of cars going through there to get barbacoa. But if I go today, there was only one car ahead of me. You know, for some reason, Sunday is the day to get barbacoa, and it's usually like by the pound because they feed the whole family.
Yeah, it's a Sunday
A
tradition.
couple tacos.
Yeah, it's a weekend meal for sure. It's not something that you would find during the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think nowadays it's more available all the time. But I remember back growing up, you could only get it on Sundays or weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weekends.
That's good though. If you never tried it, I recommend it.
Ugh.
Put a little salt. Put a little, chile on there. Oh man.
There you go. Get some of the tongue, the lengua, then get the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
nah, I don't do the brain stuff. The brain and the ears and that kind of
See, nowadays
Good.
they have the
Just give me
clean
the cheek meat and some of the tongue. That's fine.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
sounds
God.
gross, but it's really delicious.
Hmm.
So I didn't
Mexican
realize
soul
it was
food.
going to be a history podcast, but interesting talk.
It's funny. These things can evolve and
Yeah.
take on a direction of its own from time, and that's okay.
Well, food is an art, right? We're doing art, so
That's right.
it is like a
That's
type of art.
Culinary
right?
arts.
Yeah.
We can have a food segment. Why not?
There you go.
Everybody else does.
I'll cook peanut butter sandwiches.
There you go. I'm good at boiling eggs.
I can make cereal.
There you go. Just a little milk. Just a little.
Well, the secret to cereal is not to pour the milk in till the last minute when you're actually ready to eat it.
There you go.
Don't ever pour your milk and then walk away and do something else.
That just depends on whether you're a soggy cereal person or a crunchy cereal.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. Like,
We'll get into a whole other debate right there.
kind of like crunchy tripas and soft tripas. Now we got to explain what tripas are, hijo.
Yeah.
I can honestly
We'll
say
do
I've
that for
never
another
actually
time.
eaten tripas. I've never
Let's
had
get into our podcast. So we are talking today about our most missed beloved TV shows. So we were supposed to come up with a list of 3 each, which is again for me very difficult to do because I have no favorites. But I guess we'll just start off. Does anybody want to go first? Venture first? We'll go ahead and give our list first, and then we can go back and. Oh, I forgot my notes. Hold on a second. Let me grab my notes so I can write this down.
This is where we insert a commercial break.
There you go.
For Jose's Barbacoa. Our first sponsor.
There you go.
Susan, what did you have for breakfast today? Since we're all talking about breakfast.
I haven't eaten yet. I'm waiting
Oh.
for us to be through.
Oh no.
I don't like barbacoa.
What?
It's because you're getting it at the wrong place.
I did not just hear
No,
that.
I don't like tripas, menudo.
Oh
Blasphemy!
my God.
Blasphemy! Hang up on her.
I grew out of it. I don't like them.
You have to find it at the right place.
No.
Really?
So we got to have one person that disagrees to make the show
We always
more
have to have that one.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. My family still eats it. I just don't like it anymore.
Ooh.
Alrighty, so let's see. Okay, let's see. Does anybody want to venture and go first, or
Yeah.
Okay, Victor goes first.
I'll go first because I have a feeling a lot of other people might pick the same shows.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a strong possibility. I could be wrong. Okay, in no particular order.
Yeah.
Well, I know number one for sure. The other two you can kind of, but favorite shows.
We'll leave number one for last. What are your other two?
Company.
Three's Company?
Three's Company. One of the reasons is because after my dad got sick and he was kind of homebound, he loved to watch that show. He would always get up to go watch that show. He loved that show. So it kind of makes it a little sentimental. But it was a good show. John Ritter was great. I was really sad when he passed away suddenly. But that was a funny show. I got to see Don Knotts, who I grew up with. Don Knotts movies. When I was a kid, we always went to go see the Don Knotts movies, but and there he was again. Oh, look, he's still around. Good. And he was great. So Three's Company would be one. Another one, here's where everybody's, I don't know, Star Trek, of course. Very popular. I still watch it to this day. Me and my brother have a thing. If there's an episode on, we'll call each other and say, I'm watching Star Trek. And say, oh, which episode is it? And then I'll give him a line from the show, and he'll have to guess the show based on that line. Because we're both nerds when it comes to Star Trek.
Yes, Jose. Live long and prosper. There you go.
Yes, sir. And my other show, and this is my number one show, because I can watch this show a million times. I'll laugh every time I see it, is Gilligan's Island. I love Gilligan's Island. It was only on for 3 seasons. I can't believe it, only 3 seasons, but it was so good. And that's another one where opening scene, I already know which episode it is, because I've seen so many times. I know all the lines and everything, and I know this is the one where the professor does this and that, and but I'm still gonna laugh. I don't care how many times I've seen Gilligan fall out of a tree. I laugh every single time. It's that kind of goofy humor that really, if you want to know what my sense of humor is, watch an episode of Gilligan's Island. That's my sense of humor. That's the kind of person I am. So I have a personal connection to that kind of humor. So it's very goofy and slapstick and just throw away your cares, just sit back and just watch 7 people do stupid things and laugh your head off. That's my number one. Who's next?
I'll go next.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll go next real quick. Okay, so I also had Three's Company as one of mine, and pretty much, Vic, you summed everything up that I was gonna say. Had some great characters, like Don Knotts, of course, and John Ritter was great. He was awesome. And just real quick, I saw it when I was a kid back, in the late 70s, early 80s. So I didn't understand a lot of the jokes because they were real sexual. The show, if you've never seen the show, it's very sexual.
Innuendo.
A lot of innuendo. Yeah. And so, but as a kid, I just laughed because people were falling down and, running around and stuff. And it was until later that I saw the show when I was older, and I was like, holy crap, they're talking about like sex. So it was kind of funny. And I saw it was like watching the show all over again, like in a new way, because it was about sex. I'm like, whoa. I always thought swingers were people that like swung on swings, like at the park or something, and they would talk about swingers. I'm like, what's a swinger? You're a kid. I'm 6, 7 years old. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Mom, what are they talking about?
Yeah, 6, 7 years old.
Let's change the channel, Mijo. Let's change the channel.
And what was okay, so that was one, right?
That's one.
Okay.
There's another one I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with. I'm a sci-fi geek, and it's a very underrated show, maybe about 3 seasons that it lasted. Not very long. It's called Quantum Leap. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that show.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was on my list.
And I love that show, man. It was awesome because they had like a bit of sci-fi and history and comedy and everything all rolled up into one. And it was kind of like almost like episodic, where it was like from one episode to the next. You had to watch the next one was going to happen to the guy because you wanted to see him, succeed. I don't want to give too much away of the show, but there was like a goal he was trying to accomplish. So that was really cool about the show.
Awesome show, yeah.
And then the third show is again, I mean, there's a lot of TV that I like, and I had trouble trying to decide on a third show, but it's one called The Wonder Years. I don't know if you guys remember that show. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just because you kind of relate. It's about like kids in the 60s and 70s, and you kind of relate because even though it takes place in a time period that I didn't really live in, I could still relate to the problems that the kids were going through about like fitting in and, being, their family problems, having that brother that pisses you off and that sister that's crazy and, stuff like that. The real strict dad. I could relate to a lot of those different things about the show. So The Wonder Years was my third choice.
Awesome. Susan, you want to go next?
Okay. So when this topic came up, I thought, oh my gosh, do they mean like old shows or, recent shows? So mine are all over the place.
Okay.
I have to be honest. I know my brother's the controller of the TV. So I would watch what he sees. We watch a lot of military and shows and comedies like that, or had that kind of vibe. So I know I watched one. I don't think I've seen them all, of course, but I remember Wild Wild West.
Oh yeah.
And I always wonder, why didn't they bring it so I can see them on? I only remember a few scenes, but I like the show.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, was it Robert Conrad in his tight pants? And
oh
they
yeah.
were. Didn't you notice that? They're like, whoa, he brought in the skinny jean. And of course, his partner was, I liked him too. Artemis Gordon, I think was his name.
Yeah.
Other one, I like their situations, but I know I haven't seen them all because it's an old show. And I don't remember too much, but I remember some. But I'm amazed I don't see it on the old TV show, the TV shows that show old shows yet.
Not even on the, there's that Western, I know my dad watches this Western channel all the time. It doesn't come on
I don't
there?
know.
Yeah, I used to have that channel when I had another server, another platform. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, all they do is show Westerns.
Who knows? I don't know. But I haven't seen it
in a long time.
come in or what's it called, that Me TV or anything like that. Another one, most people, I guess, well, they don't like it. I know they like the one now, but I used to always watch ER.
Oh,
Like one of the first medical dramas. And I thought it was better than the one that's going on right now. I won't name it. And I watched that one too, I'll admit it. But I think it showed more of the drama part and not a lot of, love and sex and all that happening.
Is that the one George Clooney was on?
Yes, so it had a lot of stars on there.
Yeah.
People were first starring on there, that are movie stars now too.
Yeah.
Or bit parts. A lot of people started. I didn't notice that until I read, more about it. Well, yeah, that one was on there too. Or they play kids on there. So I watched that to the end, till it finished. And I don't know, it's hard to explain. I just think it's much more real than the ones out right now. So, and it's so old. It is on, I do know it comes on somewhere on a TV station, but I don't know which one. And it does have its age on there. But all the dramas there seem to happen, I hate to say it, seem to happen in the other show, but with more fancy stuff. I don't know. Because they've had, I know one problem, one serious scene or one of the shows had where a gunman came and one of the doctors died. And I think that also situation happened in the other, I'm not going to name one that's going on now. So I think, they stole a couple of...
We all know which one you're talking about, but that's fine. Keep going.
Right. And of course, the last one is X-Files. I miss that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And I started watching it with my brother, so we're more in that sci-fi and all that. And,
Wow. I wasn't expecting that list from you, Susan. I was expecting a different list, but
like what? Like girly stuff?
Well, I guess more recent. Well, I guess it wouldn't be on that list because it's not officially over yet.
It is.
We'll just leave it there.
Oh,
Now I'm curious what you're talking about.
I'm thinking of a show. I was thinking of Supernatural, but it's not officially
Yeah, I
over
do.
yet, right? There's like still a few
No.
episodes left.
Yeah, it's his last season. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
But no,
Awesome.
those are good shows.
Yeah, those are good choices. X-Files, for sure.
Yeah.
All of you guys so far. Yeah. Am I
Only
next?
one repeat. Pretty good.
Yeah, I guess you could go, Mike.
Okay, sorry, Susan, were you done? Was that 3?
yes, I was
I'm
done.
just jumping ahead.
I was done.
Those were good. The X-Files is a great show. I didn't think of that one. I'm glad you brought that one up. But yeah, you guys are pretty much covering everything that was on my list. So luckily I had a backup list. Yeah, I was thinking Star Trek. I was thinking Quantum Leap. I love those shows, so I'd like to talk about those. But I have others. America's Most Wanted. I used to tune into that religiously. I just love that show. I think there was a time I was only watching 3 things. It was America's Most Wanted, Spurs games, and the news. That was it.
Wow.
That's all I had time for. But I never wanted to miss that on a Saturday night. I mean, you could make plans for Saturday night. Like, yeah, as soon as America's Most Wanted is over, I'll be there. So I used to love that show. And I used to drop hints to my kids that when you could order the caps and the T-shirts. I never got a cap. I never got a T-shirt. You could order from. They never caught on to the hints to get me a cap or a T-shirt. But yeah. So then there's I guess now that I have to dig deep, and I had all of these in mind anyway. But the old 70s variety shows, and if I have to pick one, I guess it would be the Carol Burnett show.
Oh,
I just thought that ensemble, the skits were just hilarious, and in particular, Tim Conway cracked.
Oh my God, yes. Tim Conway and Harvey Korman. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, they were all great, not to take away from anybody, but without Tim Conway, I'm not sure they would have achieved the success because he was just phenomenal. He was just
a genius, man.
Comic genius. There you go. So yeah, but there's so many variety shows around that time. That was the thing, and then later on, Mad TV and then Living Color. But there's nothing like the Carol Burnett show or the variety shows from the 70s. And then just going down memory lane, getting a little nostalgic. Probably the Brady Bunch. I was in love with Marsha. But there were so many shows from that era that I watched. I watched more TV as a kid than I do as an adult. So just because I have time, I guess I don't have time. So those are some of the shows that weren't mentioned in other people's lists that still ring true to me as far as like, man, those are great shows. I wish we could bring them back. They've done remakes and movies of some of that stuff, but nothing like the originals.
Good list.
America's Most Wanted, Carol Burnett show, and the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And all of those too. I watched all of those. They were great. Star Trek, Quantum Leap, X-Files. Oh my God, the list is great. Can't wait to see what Belinda has.
Yeah, no, I can see why we're all friends because our lists all match. I'm like, what? So this is one time I wish I had said a list of 5 because I could not make up my mind. I still have shows running, and y'all are mentioning stuff, and I'm like, oh, why didn't I put that one down? But I had again also in no particular order because I just can't pick a favorite. But I had the Carol Burnett show, variety shows that just don't exist anymore, but they are just hysterical. And you're right about Tim Conway. Oh my God. Yeah, that is just like, it just cannot be done ever again, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever be duplicated. You're right.
No.
No, because I mean they had an orchestra and it was dancers. It was almost like a Las Vegas show. I mean,
Yeah, it was a whole variety. I mean, it was a true variety show. It was like, what was that? The word escapes me. Like a vaudeville.
yeah,
And it was live, filmed in front of a live audience.
yeah.
It was it was
It'd
awesome.
be way too expensive to make a show like that these days.
Yeah. That's the thing.
The closest thing to that would probably right now be Saturday Night Live. But,
Yeah, they have the little skits.
yeah. But
Yeah, that cannot be matched.
Not
That
the
show
same.
is just the best.
yeah.
I guess the other ones, geez, I don't even know. There's just so many, and I had ties in the other two positions, only because they were shows that I watched at similar times. So I had like Buffy, the Vampire Slayer,
Oh yeah.
X-Files.
Remember them.
It like those were tied because I watched them at the same time, and they happen around that same era, and they're just shows that I could watch over and over and over again. And stuff like Gilligan's Island and Three's Company and Brady Bunch. I love those shows, but I feel like I've seen them, like I've just overkilled myself on them. I've seen them so many times. Well, but I can't say that about the next two, so I don't know. I've just seen them so many times that it's just overkill at this point for me to like go back and see them again and find anything new. And I can still find new things in Buffy and X-Files. And then the other one, which again would be a tie, because again, I used to watch them like around the same time when I was like really young. And I can still find like so many new things in both shows. Would be Star Trek, obviously, and The Twilight Zone. Those just like, those are commentaries that beyond just what you see on the screen and the actual drama or whatever that's happening. I mean, it veers off into so many directions. You can like have discussions about those programs on so many levels.
Yeah, Rod Serling was way ahead of his time.
Yeah,
Deep.
those two are just. I mean, they're kind of like Carol Burnett, but they're dramatic, and it's just commentary on social life, on what it is to be human sometimes. So those would be mine. And sorry, I used a tie thing for mine, but it was like I just couldn't decide. But those would be my list.
I cheated with honorable mention last time, so a tie is just it's just a way to throw an extra one in there. That's okay.
Throw it in there. Why not? Throw it in the mix. Talk about it.
I have to add a little bit of a qualifier to what we're discussing, because we're talking about TV shows that aren't around anymore,
Right.
that are our favorites. And there are some really, really good shows that nobody's mentioned, like Breaking Bad, because it's not around anymore. But the reason it's not on my list is because I hardly ever had a chance to see it, because that was when I was an adult now. All these shows that I mentioned are shows I was watching when I was much younger, and I had time to watch TV. And I know there's people who binge watch and stuff, but personally, I don't have time to binge watch. I'm I'm like Mike. If it's not a Spurs game or the news, I don't get a chance to watch TV very much. I know Breaking Bad's a great movie, obviously a great movie, great show, but I hardly got to see it. I tried to watch it, and I just couldn't keep up with the episodes because I was so busy. And I know everybody always tells me, well, you got to do the record it and watch it later. I said, well, if I can't watch it now, I'm not going to have time to watch it later either. So I wish I could have, because I know it was really good. And the few episodes that I did see were awesome, but I can't add it to my list because I didn't see the whole, process, all the seasons, but I'm sure a lot of people out there who are watching this would probably add that to their list.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
I think like TV, like nowadays, is a little bit different. Like what you're saying, Vic, with Breaking Bad, because you got to invest yourself in these shows. You can't just watch one
Right.
and drop it right there. Game of Thrones, it's a show that I loved, but man, you got to like really pretty much drop everything you're doing for a year, to watch every episode and get into it.
I wanted to mention something else that Susan mentioned, because she mentioned ER. Excuse me. And we're talking about how the stars, were on that show to start the beginning of their career, and they've gone on to be bigger things. There was another hospital show y'all probably remember called St. Elsewhere.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too.
There was a lot of big stars that came on that show, and it was a really good show. It only lasted like 2 or 3 seasons.
Denzel.
There were a lot of, Denzel Washington was on that show.
Mhm.
There were a lot of other good big time actors that came out of that show, and it brought that to mind. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. There's some people out there that might remember that.
Yeah. I want to go back and visit Star Trek. You said your brother, was it? You could, live long and prosper.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I did that a lot as a kid, and at the risk of looking like a nerd, but I didn't care because it meant something. And then later on, this one came. You know what this one is?
It looks familiar.
Strength and Honor.
Strength and Honor. Oh, that's from Gladiator.
Gladiator, correct. Yeah. So Strength and Honor replaced Live Long and Prosper as I got older, but this was the original. Greeting for a long time.
Although there was an episode of Star Trek where they did that.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was where they went to the alternate universe and they were all like pirates and they saluted each other. Like,
Oh,
Up with the little goatee. With,
yes.
Right? Yes.
The evil universe. Right.
So do you have a Scotty impersonation or anything?
Let me see.
What did he used to say?
The lithium crystals are gone. We've got no power.
She's going to blow or something, right? How is
Blow.
No, you got to do the doctor.
Oh yeah.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not an engineer.
I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
There you go.
Are you out of your Vulcan mind?
Right.
Yeah, the Scotty one with the dilithium crystals. I couldn't remember how that went. I'm giving it all she's got, Captain. She's
I've
gonna
got no
go.
power, but I have to have some sorry and brandy.
Yeah, that's some good stuff there. And I forgot about Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, all those characters brought something different to the show, which I think was very interesting, very good.
Yeah.
And the movies too. The movies, I really enjoyed the movies a lot too. When they went to the movie
Yes.
format, it was pretty cool. I liked it a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Wrath of Khan, and yeah, that's some big time stars on that show that went on. I mean, the actors,
I started watching with William Shatner.
yeah.
And then, of course, Picard, and now that came later. But there was a Captain Pike. Was there actually a series with him before Shatner? Because he
No.
was in a couple of those.
I think he was in the pilot only.
Yes.
that was?
Yeah. And then he didn't reappear until the current Star Trek. Which one is it? The one that's out now, which I can't see because I can't afford. I can't afford the CBS Prime channel or whatever. What is it called?
I just remember being baffled watching that episode where Captain Pike was in a wheelchair, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, where did he come from? And they were talking. I go, was this a series before the series, or was just, you know, I didn't know. And as a kid, back then, we didn't have Google to look it up, you know.
That was the episode where they went back to the planet Talos 4. Because he had that experience before.
Right.
Where he was like in the zoo and they let him go, but now he's in a wheelchair. He wanted to go back because he knew they could make him young again. And, you know.
Healthy, yeah.
So they kind of used old footage from the pilot in this other one, because this is the one where Spock was on trial because he was mutinying against Kirk because he wanted to take Pike back to that planet.
Right. Yeah, I saw that old footage and that made me think, wait a minute, I didn't know it was just a pilot. I was thinking it was a whole other series, black and white series that I'd missed as a kid.
Yeah, in fact, that's I think it's called Menagerie. That's the name of
That's the one. Yep.
Getting blown out by the sun here.
That's a much better picture, Mike.
Yeah.
Victor's a little in the shadows, but we're gonna have to get Victor a light. We'll have to pitch in and buy him one, send it through Amazon or something.
Victor's looking like Don Corleone over there, man. The dark and shadows, like, you know.
Where's the cat?
To get you to come to the dark side.
So I have a question for Victor and Jose. Who do y'all prefer in Three's Company, the Ropers or Furley?
Ooh, that was good.
Yeah. The Ropers had a spin-off. I guess they figured they were good enough to give them their own show. But I always liked Don Knotts. I thought he was funnier.
Don Knotts was more physical and more with the making crazy faces and
big eyes. Yeah.
You know, Norman Fell was more of a.
We do that, the karate thing.
That was perfect, Jose.
Working all night in front of the mirror. Got to get it right for the podcast.
Norman Fell was more dry, but his wife, the woman who played his wife, was she was always getting on him and doing funny things because she
yeah.
There was innuendo jokes about their lack of a sex life. So there were different characters, but they're both good. But yeah, Don Knotts, like I said, I grew up on The Incredible Mr. Limpet and The Shakiest Gun in the West and The Ghost and Mr. Chicken and all those Don Knotts movies as a kid.
Those old Disney films and yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm kind of a lean towards Don Knotts too. And Norman Fell was just in Dragnet, so you know. I'm sure it was in other stuff, but that's the stuff I remember from.
Oh, Dragnet! I used to watch that.
Yeah,
that's the facts, man.
The facts.
Just the facts.
I'm trying. Now, see, y'all got me self-conscious now. I keep trying to move my camera on and get more light.
Oh no! I don't think it's gonna work because your light is from above.
Yeah. I'll need a flashlight or something.
I had a question for Mike.
Sure.
Hey, Mike, was that show America's Most Wanted? Was it with that Walsh guy, the guy that hosted it? Right? Wasn't his son the one that went missing or something? And then
Adam Walsh, yes, he was
took on that crusade, right? Like to find out who killed his kid or something like that.
He was actually a hotel executive when his son turned up missing. 6-year-old son turned up missing at a shopping center.
Adam Walsh. Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. They found him. Well, he was murdered. They only found his head. The poor kid.
Wow.
So yeah, it just ignited something in Dad, and he's like, "I'm gonna go after bad guys."
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was his way of honoring his son. It was like. They never really figured out. They had some suspicions as to who may have kidnapped his son, but they never really definitively figured out who it was. But I'll tell you what, that sparked something in him where he went after the bad guys.
Is that show still on?
No.
We still have the America's Most Wanted program.
He had another show on Oxygen Network or something called The Hunt. That came later after Fox canceled America's Most Wanted. I remember when they canceled it, I was like, why? I mean, that's like a public service there. But I guess the ratings were down. I don't know. People weren't tuning in, or maybe it was contract money thing. Who knows? But they canceled it. Then a couple years later, he started another show on a different network. And it was called The Hunt. And I tried watching it a few times, and it just wasn't the same. It was good, but it wasn't the same. There was more like reenactments and a lot of, I don't know, a lot of drama. It was almost like watching a TV show as opposed to
and rather than like a documentary showing you.
But they did solve a lot of crimes.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah, it was still under the premise of catching the bad guys, sure. But yeah, Adam Walsh was his son, 6 years old, murdered in Florida. Kidnapped, disappeared, murdered, and the dad, he
and that started it all off.
Yeah.
John Walsh reinvented himself as a hotel executive and walked away from that and became the creator of the show, the host of the show. And the rest is history, as they say. But a great show. I used to watch it every Saturday at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
I planned my Saturdays around that show.
Appointment television.
Very, very rarely missed an episode for a long time.
You know, one thing we didn't touch on was talk shows. I guess nobody considers those great, but compared to each other, you know, I like David Letterman was great, and I like Conan O'Brien, but those are all come on at night. Obviously, we pick most of the shows in prime time TV shows. But yeah, I like talk shows. I find them entertaining, especially if they're good shows. Like I love David Letterman. I would watch David Letterman every night.
I used to watch him. It's just, I don't know, it's just not something that I like would plan my week around. Like I've got to watch this or whatever.
Yeah. And of course, being late, some people just, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, that's true. As a kid, you know, you gotta go to bed early, and as an adult, it's like.
Although I just sit up and watch Johnny.
As an adult, as a teacher, it's like I gotta go to bed early anyway.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason to be watching late night TV.
Yeah.
Does anyone
Go ahead, Susan.
I was going to ask, anyone remember a Mike Douglas show?
I do.
I was just gonna say that.
I do remember that one.
That one. So.
I remember like a lot of singing on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really remember like any specific interviews or anything like that I thought, oh well, that's interesting, you know, or that would have stuck with me. But I do remember singing. I remember there was a lot of singing on that.
I remember the set was very like 70s, you know, had that avocado green and brown and yellow color pastel or whatever. Yeah, very 70s.
You know what nobody mentioned? Game shows.
Oh, yeah.
They're bringing all those back.
They are. Have you seen like that? I don't even know what it is now, the pyramid one. It started off as $25,000 or something, right? And then it kept going up, $100,000. And
today's money, $750 million.
Times have changed.
What was that? No whammies.
No, yeah, that one's back too.
Oh,
yeah,
Watch Game, Family Feud. They're bringing them all back.
I kind of like the To Tell the Truth show with Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
And what's funny is that sometimes they'll actually take celebrities and they'll dress them up and they'll be on the panel. You won't know it's them, like Cassandra Peterson, Elvira.
Oh,
She's
really?
actually been on the show.
And nobody recognized her?
No, nobody recognized her. She wasn't in her
Wow.
Elvira costume.
She looks so different without her costume.
Yes, yes.
Her wig.
And Paul Rubens was on there once.
What? And nobody
Oh.
recognized him?
He wasn't dressed like Pee-wee. He was just dressed like the other two contestants. And sometimes they'll put makeup on him.
That's crazy. I mean, I think I would have recognized Elvira and Pee Wee.
Elvira's hard to recognize. Pee-wee, I would think I could recognize him out of
Yeah.
her costume. But Elvira,
I've
seen her without
Elvira enough times, or Cassandra Peterson. I keep saying Elvira. Cassandra Peterson. I've seen her enough times, like without makeup. She's got blonde hair, but she's very pretty. That I would think that I would recognize her if I saw her. But
Yeah. No, she looks
maybe
good.
just out of context type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, sometimes they're wearing a hat or they're dressed up differently. And you don't expect celebrities to be on the show.
Yeah,
so,
that's
like I
true.
said,
Yeah.
out of context. It's like when you're at the grocery store and one of your students sees you and like they kind of look at you funny, like, what are you doing here? Yeah. So,
Usually me looking at them funny. What are you doing here?
You look different. You're not stressed out.
One time they had on the lady who's supposedly Oprah's pedicure person, and they had to guess which one it was, and it was so funny. I said, well, let's see if they really know. I think it was like Deion Sanders was one of the. he took his shoe off and went and put it on. Says, what? Tell me something about my feet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ew.
Pedicure person, you know what's wrong with my feet. Yeah, it was just crazy. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's gross.
I want to go
I
back
can
and
tell you got a little fungus growing.
Yeah. I think you had some turf toe or something like that.
That's hysterical. I'm sorry, Mike. You were going to say something.
Victor, I believe, touched a little bit on Johnny Carson. That was the talk show that I used to watch as a kid, right after the news. And I always thought that Ed McMahon, I think Vanna White is the only person that has an easier job, but Ed McMahon, I thought, had a pretty cool gig. Drink a little bit of whiskey and laugh at everything Johnny said.
Right?
Doesn't matter what he says. I was like, man, I don't want to be a host. I just want to be the sidekick.
I know. It's
I don't think they hired me to be the letter turner on Wheel of Fortune, but she don't even turn the letters anymore. She just taps them.
True.
I mean, those are like the easy gigs, I was like,
yeah, that's true.
You think
And then
Guillermo is going in that direction as well?
Yes.
Guillermo adds a lot to the show. They send him out like, out on the road, roving reporter, kind of like me today in my van, they send him to do other stuff.
Some of the Academy Awards on the red carpet and stuff like that.
Yeah, he does like NBA finals. He does all kinds. They use him. They utilize him. He doesn't just sit there like Ed McMahon. Ed McMahon would just sit there and sip his whiskey out of that coffee mug and laugh at anything Johnny said. Like, man, that's easy. Him and Vanna, they got it made.
Yeah, they do.
True.
But yeah, and then later on, I never really could tell who I liked more, but I flipped back and forth between Jay Leno, David Letterman, Jay Leno, David Letterman. I like Jimmy Kimmel, but after a while, you just get tired of the same old. So if I got tired of Jay Leno, I flipped over to David Letterman, and if I got a little tired of watching him too much, I go back to Jay Leno. So I never really picked one or the other. I couldn't say if one was better than the other. I can say that David Letterman captured television history with the impromptu reunion of Sonny and Cher.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I forget who was the actual guest, Sonny or Cher, one or the other, but the other one was like a surprise. I think Sonny was a surprise to Cher. And And he told them, y'all want to get up there and sing? And it wasn't planned. They sang I Got You, Babe. You can probably YouTube it. You know, Paul Schaefer's band, you know,
Yeah.
they were ready. They were ready to go. And that was just like TV history, unplanned. It was just a great TV moment.
Yeah.
On the David Letterman show. If you get a chance to go back and look at that.
I remember seeing that, but I didn't know it was unplanned.
Yeah, I don't think it was planned. I think even Cher messed up some of the words, and you can see like Sonny kind of give her that look, like keep going, go on, don't stop, you know. But yeah, I don't think it was.
It's probably been a long time since she had sung that song. So.
Probably.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't seen that one. I don't remember seeing that one.
Yeah, you got to look it up. Sonny and Cher on David Letterman reunion.
I think that was the only like time period I like actually watched a lot of late night, because it was like during when I was in college, and or I was going to college, and I did watch Letterman, but I don't remember that.
Just because I don't want to put false information on there. Now you gave me a little bit of doubt, Victor. We got to figure out if it was planned or not.
It was still pretty cool though, just to see him do that.
Yeah, it was great, but I was always under the impression it was just impromptu. But if it was planned, then I'm mistaken. So we're gonna have to get to the bottom of that one too.
Which kind of brings me back to the Carol Burnett show, because Sonny and Cher had their own variety show, but
Yeah.
They did.
there were a lot of variety shows, but Carol Burnett was clearly the best.
I remember the Sonny and Cher show, the Donnie Marie show. Trying to see who else.
Who was that guy that sang that song, Tie Yellow Ribbon? Didn't he have like a song?
Yes,
Oh,
Tony Orlando.
There you go. Didn't he have his own show too?
He
I
did.
think Tony Orlando and Dom had a show for a little while. Yeah.
Even the country folk got in on it with Hee Haw.
Yeehaw.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Love Hee Haw.
That show was on for a long time. Yeah, that was a good show.
I used to like Hee Haw too. As a kid, I used to watch that religiously.
And then we got the Muppets involved. They had their own show.
Right.
That was a good
Love
show.
that.
I used to love the Muppets.
I love the Muppets too.
Muppets.
Statler and Waldorf.
Heckling up there in their box seats.
The Swedish Chef.
I forgot which comedian I saw a show there on at the Majestic, and whoever the performer was says, "Doesn't that remind you of the Muppets?" The Majestic Theater has
Yeah.
boxes up on the wall there.
Oh yeah, the two old guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're at the Majestic, just in case anybody needs to know where they're at. Beautiful theater.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Lots of memories.
Yep. Filmed Selena there. Film some Selena scenes there
Oh, okay.
in the Selena movie. Yeah.
It's like one of the jewels of San Antonio.
Yeah.
If you ever come to San Antonio, you got to go visit Majestic. Go see a show.
Go see a Broadway play at the Majestic.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up, but I wanted to do I wanted to try out a new little segment. I'm not sure of the name quite yet.
Uh-oh.
I was thinking of maybe like calling it the quick pick. So
Calling it
I don't
what?
know. The
Quick
quick pick. The quick pick.
Oh.
So I want you, we started off talking about food and barbacoa, so this will blend very naturally into that for closing up the show. What is like, just give me your immediate feedback. What is your favorite movie snack? Go to the movies. What do you go to the concession bar to get?
I
Well,
don't.
for one, I don't buy my candy at the concession bar. I sneak it in from the dollar store.
I thought you were going to say you hit the bar.
I do buy the popcorn.
You can now at there's one theater that has a bar now. So
Yeah, the Draft House.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about the Casablanca, but yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Draft House has a bar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't buy a lot of concessions at the movies because they're so expensive. But if I do, it's probably nachos.
Mm-hmm.
Nachos are good.
They sell I think they even call them movie box candies at the dollar store. I buy the Boston baked beans and I buy the sweet tarts, and that's what I stick in. Then I buy a small popcorn and a small drink, and still it's $25 for that. So,
It costs more than the movie, right?
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know, like when I was a kid, my mom would take me to the movies and we would sneak in food and candy. We would go to Wynn's. I don't know if you guys remember Wynn's.
Oh, yeah.
Like a dollar store, and
5 and dime back then.
We would put it in her big purse, and then we'd go get some tacos. And so during the movie, you could hear the aluminum foil, like we're opening the packaging of the taco, sneaking everything contraband inside. And
You can hear the soda can pop when you pop the top. Wait a minute, we don't sell cans here.
When the can that hits the floor and rolls.
Yeah.
Or even going to the drive-in and throwing a couple of your buddies in the trunk so you have to pay everybody. Then they got smart and just started charging by the car full, so the carload instead of by the person.
Yeah.
Like, you're the only one. I came to watch the movie alone. all of your buddies are in the trunk.
Well, mine has switched back and forth between stuff. I love the nachos, definitely. But it just depends. To me, it depends on the theater. But nachos are always a good go-to, and the other one would be the pretzels, the big soft baked pretzels. Oh my God, the best ones are the Santikos pretzels. Mm-hmm. Go over to the butter, the popcorn butter. And I just like drizzle
Brown it.
Butter. Awesome. That and a drink.
Yes.
Can I have a pretzel with my butter?
Exactly.
I don't think I gave an answer, right? I was talking about like tacos and stuff, but I'm just a popcorn and icy. I like ices, the strawberry.
Oh yeah, I love ices.
I don't get soda, just the icy and the popcorn.
And they let you get refills now too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I showed you guys my icy towel. I actually got it with icy points. That's how much ices I bought.
Wow.
Now they don't even use those icy point cups at all the locations anymore. So I feel a little ripped off. If I find a place that sells the old school cups with the points, that's where I try to go to. But if you go to like some of the more common, without naming names, more common convenience stores now, they use their own cups.
Yeah.
So there's no points on them. So how am I supposed to get another towel? How am I supposed to get another icy mug? Some things in this world, I don't know.
Susan, did you give us your pick?
No.
Well, what
Like, like you, it depends on the theater, but pretzels for sure. And sometimes fried pickles. Romero got me hooked on those.
Mm.
Fried pickles, yeah. I'm not a big fried pickle person, but that seems to be a theme down here. Everybody likes fried pickles.
Anything fried in Texas is gonna sell.
True, yeah. Yeah.
Get a fried Twinkie at the Texas State Fair.
That's right.
Yeah. Fried ice cream, fried Oreos, fried everything.
I know. Fry them all. Who cares?
Yep.
All right. Well, that was a good quick pick. I think that's going to do it for today. We went a little long, but it wasn't too bad. Very interesting shows. And I think our next episode is going to be the Halloween episode, if I'm thinking correctly,
Spooky.
if I'm timing it correctly. So yeah, spooky. So I guess we'll be here, and I don't know. We might have some special guests, maybe.
Should we wear costumes for that episode?
Hey, by all means, go for it. I'll probably be wearing something. So yeah, tune in for a special guest maybe, and maybe some special Halloween themed music and whatnot.
Yeah, we'll see.
And I guess just that's it. Anybody have last parting thoughts?
Live long and prosper.
Oh,
There you go.
Strength and honor.
Wakanda forever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wakanda forever. Birds up. Oh, that sounds totally. That's another bird.
I said it earlier. I'll say it again. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
All righty. Well, that's another episode. And, till next time, take care. Be safe out there. And we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next time.
All right, guys. That's it. That's a wrap.